Hey everyone, welcome. I am Rita from Rita Marie Stitching Adventure, and this is a video about cross stitching. So today I have whips, finishes, life updates, and a giveaway. I finally managed to dig out what I needed to dig out to do the giveaway. So after this video, I have to dig out where I had my envelopes and stuff like that because my craft room is a mess. And it became even more a mess while I've been away. And that's one of the reasons it's been over a month since I last was there, I believe. So, but I'm here, and hopefully now routines are getting a little bit more back to normal. So, yeah, hopefully I will do this more often. Back to my regular scheduled program. So I thought that we could just start with the giveaway because I have everything in front of me. I need to be able to put some things away, and this is the easiest things to put away. So first we have is a cross-stitching kit of Maya, the bee. So please remember, don't say the word giveaway in your comments. It will be deleted. You have to be a subscriber, and you have to be over 18 or have your parents enter for you. Like, I don't do the whole get your parents' permission anymore because I know some people might lie on the internet. So if you're not over 18 yourself, you have to get your parents to enter the giveaway. And so yeah, that's that. So the first one, I have 3 giveaways. You can only win one, but you can enter for all of them. So the first one is a kit. You don't get the clock mechanism or the hoop because both of them are, I don't know, disappeared. And anyways, it would be too heavy to ship because the shipping would be like 5 times the price just to ship those things. But the clock mechanism, if you want to do a clock, you can easily find on Amazon and buy a clock mechanism, and a hoop you usually can get in a crafting store. So there, you can do it just as a picture and just don't do the clock part. That's totally up to you. In the kit, I will add you get like this hard paper to show the size. You get the instructions for how to assemble the clock if you want to do a clock. It comes with the paper chart, and that's a really huge chart. Like, not because the size of this project is so huge, but like they have really big symbols, so it's easy to read. It comes with the kit's Ada and floss that are already pre-sorted on the floss card. So if you're interested in this one, then please say B in your comment. Just put in B as in the letter B, the letter E, and the letter E, a B. So because I will do a random comment picker to choose the winner. And that will happen, I will give you at least a month So it will be like the end of September, I will do a giveaway. So the giveaway will be open until, let's see. The giveaway will be open until the 31st of August. No, 30th of September. And I will do the choosing and stuff in October. So you have until the end of September 2021 to enter this giveaway. And after that, there will be no more entries, because then I will do the winners. So if you want this, then please somewhere in your comment implement the word be. Next up is a little bit of everything kind of giveaway. So what I have added is, there's this small kit I got. That looks like this. It's more of a religious kit. So, and it comes with all the floss and the chart. The floss is not sorted, so that you have to do yourself. And so yeah, if you want to do this one, implement the word God somewhere in your comment. This here. Now all the different things is happening. So this is going to be like the biggest pack to ship, so it is what it is. It's gonna contain, you have this little pattern that I have. I noticed I had multiple ones, so it's just a little ornament size. It will come with a scissor fob from Carrie and Stitches, and it has like a cute little dog on the end. It will come with these. Yeah, these are for curling hair, but what I am using them for is when I do full coverage projects. I actually use these when parking floss to, when I'm not going to use that floss in a long time, I will wrap them in one of these and just tuck it into the grind guard on my project to keep it away, so the floss doesn't tangle in on each other. So that will be in there. And then not all of these, but most of these is going to be in that bag. So this is Mo Sales floss. They're all like different variegations. So what I'm going to do is, most of this floss is going into this giveaway, like this part of the giveaway, but some of them I will take out and put into the other giveaways. So that I will just do when I get to there. But what I will promise to do is, like, if there's like this one it's the same color, you have 2 skeins of it, I have 2 skeins of it, I will put these, I will make sure that both of these get in the same spot, so you don't end up having a bunch of single colors of floss. So yeah, but some of these I just have one of, so I'm giving it away. So most of this floss. So if you want to enter this giveaway with the scissor fob, the pattern, and the floss bobbins, I don't know what to call them, then implement the word floss in your comments. The last one is a memorabilia chart. It's the Cathedral Woods Goddess. She looks absolutely beautiful if the camera would just pick it up there. I am planning to hopefully start this like next year or the year after. We'll see how many memorabilias I can get done before then so that I actually feel like I can start a new one. Because having like 50 pretty fancy ladies going at one time, I don't really feel the need to have that. So I kind of like just having one at a time. Right now I have more than one. But that's another story. So if you want this one, then implement the word memorabilia in your comment. So that is going to be the giveaway. It's the giveaway for the when I hit 1,000 subscribers. That is like a long time ago. And yeah, as I said, it will end on the 30th of September 2021. So after that, there will be no more comments that will be entered into the giveaway. And on October the 1st, I will do a drawing for who wins what. And in that video, I will like enter my email address so that you can reach me there with your address and stuff. So if you're gonna enter this giveaway, you have to be willing to also give away your address, because or else I can't ship the items to you. That's how it is. So that done, let's get to the project. I actually have done a lot. And I was pretty good with my dress. Remember the dress, the bunad? Yeah. I was thinking I could show you that first. So I only worked on one of the big parts. I have two sizes that are two pieces of fabric that are the same size and the same things on them. It's a pattern that are repeated 3 times on each piece, so 6 times. So if you look at the bottom, I finished all the bottom leaves. I also did a lot of these flower buds right here on the bottom. Not everywhere, but on that last part I was working, because last time I was in this section. So I finished off like most of what I wanted to do here. And then I start working on the bottom border with the leaves, finishing them off. And now I'm currently working on all these small leaves to try and get those fully finished. I think maybe in this section I'm done with all of them. So, but sometimes when I'm stitching, sometimes I'm just like, okay, I just want to do a little bit more in this section. So that's probably why the hoop is still there. And if all of that is done, then I think the only leaves I have left is these here and over here. and they're going to be a couple here, and there is at least, like in one of the repeating patterns, there is like 11 of these right here that I have to do. So that's what's the next thing I'm going to try to tackle, is do all of them. They are a little bit more difficult to do than the others. That's why I want to do all of them in one go. Because as you see here in this section, you kind of edge it in, like you don't follow just the line around, like you go into the leaf to put in color and give it some texture. So it's a little bit more difficult to do. It takes a little bit more concentration. So here's one that has been like a tiny bit started. It was just to end off that length of floss. And as you can see, I'm going pretty far into the leaf, if you see where the edge of the leaf is. And that is, as I said, to give it more texture. So that's going to be the next thing I am tackling. But the last week, I haven't really been good about stitching on it. I will talk more about that later, why. So then I guess we can just start pulling stuff. I think these two are my finishes, because yeah, I have 2 finishes since the last time. So this is how I wanted it to be. So this is the Black Pearl by the Primitive Hair. I have done my own conversion on this one. And here she is fully done. This one was started in 2018, I believe, for Heather Linkis, my homeboy's birthday. She finished her a long time ago. She also did a conversion with like purple here, but I wanted the red here, but I still have used my own floss. So the flosses I use for that one is, the black is Silks for You PRO 70, like all the black. Then apparently I don't have the rest of the floss in the bag. I must have put them away. But I did use 2 Victoria Model Sampler floss for the red and the skin. The skin was called Lace something. And Mahogany Wine is the darkest color. And I think the red is like Christmas red or something. I'm not sure if you can get a hold of those. So, and this blue one, I don't remember. It was a week's dye work. And then the beads are just some crystals that I bought. This is Mill Hill bead 0078 or something like that. If you really want to know the details, I can find it for you. I just don't have it here. I thought I had, but apparently I started to try and organize stuff. So yeah, and the swing is just in the call for colors. They're DMC. So that's the only one in the call for colors. But I love how she turned out. So that's how she is looking. So next up we have the Farmhouse Christmas series. And I'm doing this. I have one. I'm doing all of them on one piece of fabric. Sorry for the crinkling. I'm doing it on this Ada Nereus second dye 20 count Ada by Chromatic Alchemy. So I'm doing all 9 on this piece of fabric, but I'm also doing them individually. So this is the first one, the Little Red Barn in the Farmhouse Christmas series. So this is the only one I had started, and I have now finished it. So, and I decided to do my initials and the year just 1/1 stitching, because I was thinking about it the other day, and that's really fitting for me, because if I can do something 1/1 like skin and stuff, I will always try and do a 1/1. So I just thought that was fitting, and I feel like it looks okay with the white. It just looks like some snow. So yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. And in the beginning of the year, I just had a little bit of the border done. This snowflake and this snowflake, and the top, that little top of the barn. Everything else is added in 2021. So that was my finish. This one I have used all the colorful colors on most of the stuff. There's some places I have instead used the DMC. It tells you like what DMC color it is. So it's a mix between the DMC and the Fancy Floss. So yeah. If there's like tiny sections where you will not see the variegation, I don't see the reason to use a Fancy Floss if you're not going to see it anyway. So then I just did the DMC basically. I'm not doing 1 or 2 stitches of a Fancy Floss that you're not going to see is variegated at all. Okay. Then we have come to my whips. So next up is A Year Down Under by Paddock Lane Designs. These are all the 12 sections of the pattern. You buy them individually, and I have put them together on one big piece of fabric. I'm model stitching it for Lisa, and this is where I got into now. So August is finished. Don't think that was finished last time, and I got a good chunk of November started. So all I have left now is November and October, and it will be done. So when this is going into my zombie run piece next month, because now I can do double dipping, which means that what I do for the zombie run, I can also do for either monthly or weekly. And since this has a lot of different things in it, it's just nice to be able to get some of the weekly done with this one. So next month, this is most likely going to be finished, because then it will be my zombie run. And I'm trying to save the world in my zombie run. Okay, next up is Mini Still Here. It's gonna look like this when it's done. And here's where I'm at now. I did a little bit more in her hair because I have been working on this side on the background. And I was working the background down, was able to do a little bit more of her hair. So that's the edge of the bun on the top of her head. And right here is the start of the wing. So I'm currently just stitching all the background around the wing. So it's not long until I start on the wing. So that's that one. I haven't stitched too much on that one, but I will. Crystal Academy, we're back to doing spells, and that one is the current spell we're doing. It lasts for 2 weeks, so either this week or next week it's gonna get more stitches in. Then we have just find the picture here because then it's easier for you to see. Cinderella by Mirabilia. And the project is here, not in the folder. So the border is fully done. I don't know if I had that finished the last time or not, but the border around, like here, it's fully done. The castle is done except for the beads, and now I have started on her dress. And everything except for beads are fully done down to this point. As you can see, I have some back stitching to do still, but I have been holding off the back stitching until I could get some of the dress like here done, so that I can do the back stitching. So yeah. The dress is starting to be filled in, and I think she's looking really good. I like her. And now that I kind of can see the ending, like I know there's a big dress to do, but I feel like I'm closer to the end, so now I'm really motivated to stitch on this. Like I want to pull this more out to stitch on. So that's where I'm at on Cinderella. Then we were traveling, and this is also a project I'm doing for one of the classes in Crystal Academy. It was a nice one to have on vacation, and it is my Advent Animals. I don't think I have I can see if I have a picture of it. I don't know if I do. No, it doesn't look like it, but it's the Brooks Advent Animals. There's 25 of them, and I'm doing all 5 on one piece of fabric, but I am going to cut them out individually is my plan. But I'm not going to start cutting them out because suddenly I might change my mind in the last minute and just do all of them on one big piece of fabric. Because that's how I roll. So yeah, here's where I'm at now. And why this was really good is I had the borders at the top here done and at the full length down done. So it was easy to kind of fill in the borders on all the others while I was on vacation. And then I did start a little bit on the numbers and a little bit on the first block. That was after I came home. I just wanted to do something else than the borders. Because the borders, as I said, they're good to do as a travel project because they're really easy to do now that I have everything kind of lined up. So I can just use the finished borders around to get the right size on how many stitches I'm supposed to do. So yeah, this one was started in 2020, at the end of 2020. So at the beginning of the year, it only had like 200 stitches in it, and now it has a lot more, as you can see. Because I also have had to pull it out for a prompt where I was to do only stitches in white, and the border is white and red. So I did a lot of just white border and didn't do the red. And then I got a prompt that wanted to do red, so I did the red, like filling in the border where I had done the white. So it's actually been a fun one to pull out once in a while to just get a break from my other projects. So, and then, since I finished the little red barn, no, I finished the black pearl. I replaced it with the little red barn. I also, last month, in the summer run, I finished one other project that I had showed you because it's not in my pile on what I have worked on since last Flosstube. So I replaced that with the Baby Sampler by Joan Elliott. I don't think I have a picture. It's gonna look like that in the end. And here's where I'm at now. So I can remove that top part of the Q-snap so you can see the whole thing. And more hair accessories I'm using on my projects. I almost never do anything with my hair, so why not use it for other things? So this is where I'm at, and I have done a lot on this month. I finished this section with the baby. That's totally finished. The skin on the baby is 1/1. Because, you know, if I can do skin 1/1, I will. Because I like it. So it's fully finished with back stitching and everything. I had just barely started the baby's face. And I just had done a little bit of this thing he's in. So I completely finished that, the hearts, the back stitching, his feet or her feet. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl. The hands. So yeah, and then I started on the stork, and I got a lot of, it's white on white, but it's done. It's there. I did the stars in the borders and pulled the borders down almost to, it's at the end, like it's the end of the side border here is just the bottom one left, and this is almost to the bottom. I think there's like one more star I have to do, a yellow star, and then this one will be at the bottom. So there's actually not that much left. I also did some of the dragonflies, you can see. This one I fully stitched and backstitched. I'm waiting to do this one when I'm doing this one. So yeah. My plan now is to do the little like snail and ladybug and the little birdie, little chickadee and stuff. I'm not going to insert a name. I have a friend that I have asked if she wants a baby sampler. She wasn't sure what a baby sampler was, so I tried to explain it to her. But she has a lot going on with moving houses and trying to get the house and bedroom ready before the baby is born. So, but if not, it can always be used in the future for somebody having a baby, because everybody around me gets babies. So it's always nice having a baby sampler on hand to easily just add in name and the birth info, and it will be ready to be given away as a gift. And most of the time, these things I'm stitching for myself because I enjoy stitching it. And the designer on this one is Joan Elliott. It's from a magazine. So I really love the colors. Like Joan Elliott, she is really good with how she is doing her colors and stuff. So that's really nice. Get it back on the Q-snap, because that's what I'm currently stitching on, because I want to get it done before August ends, because that means I will have 2 new projects I can use for the zombie run, because this is a zombie run piece. So yeah. And then I did a crazy thing. I entered, you had to enter a long time ago if you wanted to do survival of the stitches in semi-sane, which was this month. And originally I thought that would be fine. So I signed up, everything was fine. And then suddenly, like, my husband found out that, oh, we're traveling at the end of July, beginning of August. And then there was a lot of other stuff happening that was unforeseen, and just, yeah. So, but I entered that one. So I have done a lot of crazy challenges. That's why the dress has been put on hold. Or not put on hold. I just haven't been good enough to picking it up and actually stitch on it. So I needed some quick stitches, and I beat some of my records when it comes to stitching. So Little Fairy was started at the end of 2020. It had like the top of her hair done and a little bit of one of the wings, and just one row on this big wing right here and a little bit on that. I just had a little bit on everything on the top done, like 200 stitches. I think I had like 202 stitches, just so I had a reference point when I wanted to pick this up and stitch. So I needed some quick stitches, so I did pull this one and stitch on it. Watercolor, going really fast. And I changed the way I'm doing the stitching, because originally I will always go from left to right, doing a diagonal stitch that is like 7 and 2 o'clock, diagonal, that direction. So I will do all of these one direction, like left to right, and then go back. But what I have done, I'm still doing my crosses the same direction. So the first leg is still this diagonal, but I'm doing it from right to left, and then I go back to the left to finish off the crosses. So it gets like a really thick texture on the back, but I kind of like it because it gives a really good coverage on the front when I started to do that. Like when you got a little bit more black on the back, it also helps the front to look better. And it also helps so that the stitches never slip. Because when I tried to start doing this for the challenge and stitch fast, my stitches would slip under the thread because it's 1/1 on, I think it's a 25 count or 28 count. Even even weave / linen. It's not totally even, so it's a mix in between. So yeah, when I did it the other way, the crosses doesn't slip, so it was easy to do. And I don't remember if it was this one or the other one I'm going to show you, but I managed to do 300 stitches. I think it was 300 stitches, yeah, in under 15 minutes. Yeah, I know, that's crazy. So it was needles on fire, but it was nice doing that kind of challenge again. And nice to see that I still have it and that I actually have gotten quicker, even though I doesn't notice that on a regular basis. So it was really fun. So there was one of the challenges that my team lost. You couldn't really fight or like stitch to save yourself. So it was like everybody on the team that lost, or the teams that lost. It was only the winning team that didn't go on the wheel got randomly picked, and I got randomly picked. So I was out of the game. So like, it's a little bit annoying that I couldn't stitch to stay in the game, because I could have stitched and been able to be in the game. But at the same time, I'm fine with it. Like, there's been a lot going on. There has been a lot of extra stuff going on. So getting that break was kind of nice. It's, as I said, it's a little bit annoying because I knew that I could have been fighting to stay in the game. But at the same time, being forced out of the game makes it so I don't need to stress about that anymore. And the 2 weeks I was in, I had a lot of fun. I got a lot of new friends, so I'm happy. We had a really great team, and the team I was on, we won the most of the challenges that we did. So, and it's not like we had a bunch of really like big stitchers, or stitchers that usually do a lot of stitches or are really fast. It's just that everybody like did their best. There was a lot of planning involved, and we had some people that took control and did the planning, and everybody kind of helped. So we constantly stayed like one team member can only stitch at one time. So immediately when one was done, another one could jump in, and we planned the best we could to like fit everyone, and so it was really fun. So the second one I had to pull out because I did more than one quick stitch of stitches. So I pulled out Happy Halloween Night by Jardin Privé. This was started in, I believe, October of 2020. And I had the word happy done, and I had a tiny bit of the back done right here. So after I then did some challenges with this one, this is where I'm at. So, because what I did, when I had to pull these out for challenges where I only did like 200 stitches or 300 stitches, I'm also in a challenge that a friend of mine gave me, or gave several of me and my friends, including herself, is to do like 500 stitches on each and every project you have if you have over 100 projects, or had more than 100 projects at the beginning of the year. And the ones that had under have to do 1,000 stitches on each and every project. So I have to do 500 stitches on each and every project I have. I already have said I'm not going to be able to accomplish that because I have other things I need to do. But I'm still doing the challenge to see how many of the projects I actually can do 500 stitches on when I'm kind of super busy doing a lot of other stuff. And I'm also doing the zombie run, so I finish a lot of projects. So I do a lot more than 500 on most of them. So it's just really fun. So that got 500 stitches on it in total. So it's a fun little project. Not many colors going on. There's 3 colors in the project. Black, I'm doing anchor black instead of DMC. I do the called for yellow, and I'm gonna do for the white, I'm gonna do glow in the dark because the white is on the ghost and the moon. So I want those to be glow in the dark. I think that will be fun. And then in daily 30, I'm also trying to do all the monthly ones each and every month. So far, I have managed to do it. I am working on August, haven't that done yet, but they came with a prompt where you had to stitch on your widest project. And then they had a prompt that was saying you have to stitch on your largest project. And that's the same project for me. And it's a project that I already have stitched on this year. That's why I'm a little bit annoyed, because I try to, when I need different projects to complete the monthly ones, I try to pull out some of the ones I haven't touched yet this year and get like 500-600 stitches on them because of the other challenges. But that didn't really happen this month. I have one new project I'm most likely going to stitch on, but yeah. So this is 5 Disney Princesses by Ziana Cross Stitch on Etsy. It's 999 stitches wide by 749, something like that. 700-800 in the height. It's a big one, and it's if you compare it to a Hade, it would be a supersized max color with blended floss, because it has like over 250 colors, and they are a lot of them are blended. So what I'm doing, I have these floss cards that I use only for the blended floss. So I write the symbol here, as you can see, and under I will write the colors, the 2 colors that are needed, because then when one is empty, I can easily see what color I need to pull to refill this spot. So that's how I do it. So I have, I usually have one length of both of the flosses. I try to cut them at the same time so they're the same length. So there's 6 strands in one of these. So when I come to stitch, if I don't already have one like here that are like blended, one of each that I have stitched with, but I cut off before it was too short, I just pull one length of each of the different colors, put them together, and start stitching. If I don't have more stitches in that color, I will cut it off and I will wrap it around the symbol it belongs to so that I can use it again later. So that's how I'm doing that one. So I have already stitched on this year. So the beginning of the year, I only had like 200 stitches done, and this is where I'm at now. So I actually have started to just with a water-soluble pen marked off where the pages are going to be. There's one here, one line here, one there, and one there. So this is page 1, 2, 3, 4, and this will be page 5. So I'm actually into page 5. And the funny thing I noticed when I was stitching on this, I'm trying to sit like a little bit on, not straight forward, because then you get a little bit of the light from the windows, is that this line right here, that's actually halfway down the page. I had no clue. I was just marking up the pages and I was like, oh, I wonder how long the page will be. And then I saw that, oh, I'm actually halfway down the page. This is exactly halfway this end. So I randomly stopped halfway down the page. So it's on 18 count Aida over 2 because I need to do blended floss. And what I did this time, I worked my way over here and did this big star. And that big star, if you see in the Cinderella block, you have that circle that goes around her head. And at the top of that circle, almost in the middle, there is a big star. And that's this big star right here. So right under here is where the circle starts. So I just have done the blue background, and I'm not doing the circle yet because I'm thinking I will do that later. But I'm going to do all the blue like to that circle around and down. So yeah, got a good amount of stitches in on this one. And my biggest problem with this one is I really enjoy stitching on it. As you can see, here is that hair thingy that's in the giveaway where I wrap the floss around and it lays there holding the floss nicely until next time I'm stitching on it. So yeah, this one, I love stitching on this when I pull it out. And it's super, like pulling it out, I'm always hesitant to pull it out because it's such a hassle. Like the fabric is bigger than my arm span. Like I can't hold the whole fabric out like this. That's impossible. It doesn't work. Like I'm still missing like, I don't know, half a meter or something like that. So yeah, it's going to be huge. But I do love stitching on it. I do love the colors. It is fun like having blended colors because you get so, the details become so good and it just looks better. So it's fun to stitch on because it looks so good. And it's on Aida, so it's easy to start and end floss with a pin stitch and all of that goodness. And each and every time I'm thinking that I want to do that bird I have started on, and then I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna do this first and then I will go back and do the bird. And before I get there, I'm like, oh, I have already done like 1,000 stitches on this project. It's time to put it away and stitch on something else because I can't just stitch on this all the time, even though I'm really tempted to. Believe me, I am. And then the last project I pulled out and stitched on was I needed a fandom project that also were Christmas because of July monthly challenge. They had like a Christmas in July monthly event. So you got bonus if all the things you were supposed to fit into also was a Christmas project. And one of them was stitch on a fandom project. And luckily, I have a fandom project that is also a Christmas project. This is Star Wars Christmas ornament. It's by Up to X-Stitch. You can't really get it on her Etsy website. You actually have to go and ask her if you can get this, because it's taken down, but she has the pattern and you can buy it from her if you talk to her, message her and talk to her. At least I was able to do that. So this is Star Wars Christmas ornament. Last time we saw it was May of 2020, because I did it for Mania. And as you can see, I have now finished that top, I call it the top 1/3 of the project, because that's kind of its own section. And then you have this border section, and then you have that last section, and then a small border again. So kind of, so yeah, now I'm starting to do this zigzaggy border that's going to go all over before jumping down and do Luke and Tatooine. Because the house you see, or that red bobbly thing you see on the left side with snow on top, that's a house. And it's the house that Luke has on Tatooine, or gets his family. It's a long story. You have to see Star Wars to get the full understanding. And also, I love the fact that R2-D2 has that holographic Christmas tree he's like putting up. I'm just totally in love with this project. It's a big hassle to stitch, because all that white you do that is like randomly snowflakes and stuff, I can't jump with the floss on the back side because of the black fabric, because it will show through. I have tried, and you can really see it show through. So each and every one of those single stitches, I have to start and end. I have to start the floss, do one stitch, and end it. And continue like that on each and every one of them. Because just a small jump, if it's close to one of the holes in the 14 count Ada, you will see it through. So, and I love this project too much to not be really, really fiddly and careful, because I want this to be perfect. So yeah, that also got 500 and something stitches in it. That was actually all my projects. I'm at the bottom of the pile. At least I hope so. I don't have anything more on the side, because what I do, everything I work on or are going to work on, I will put down here beside me. And as I'm doing stuff and finishing stuff, I will just, if I finish a project, I will just pile it like at the back of all the project bags. And I don't remove them until I have done a Flosstube video. Because when I do a Flosstube video, I will then clean up. So the project that are finished, or I'm not going to stitch on it anymore, like Happy Halloween Night and Little Fairy, the plan is at least not to stitch on them before next year, because I have done the 500 stitches. I'm trying to get other projects instead. I will take those away and put them in the whip storage I have. I have a bunch of baskets where I have all the projects in. And if I have finished something, then I will take it out. I will put like the flosses and stuff. I have a place for like things I need to organize. I will put that in there so that when I have the itch to do some organizing, I can. And that's what I need to do. Everything that is just put in there. So yeah, I don't have more projects down there, which means I have to have shown you guys. At least I hope I didn't, like, by a mistake, take one away and put it back in the basket. But I don't think I did. So, okay, if you're only here for the stitchy stuff, then thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. It's always a joy to have you all here. So, because now I will jump over to what has happened, life stuff. So, last time I left you, we're in the middle of summer. Summer had started. My husband and son was home. Then we went on vacation. We ended up traveling, which we didn't have planned. We slept in my in-laws' sailing boat. They have like a big sailing boat. So we slept on the boat. And there's a zoo like down at the south where we were. So we were 2 days visiting that zoo. They have like also some carousels, and there's a good amount of other stuff to do, but there's a lot of animals to watch also. So we did that. Leo had a blast. He really enjoyed it. There was something that was a little bit bothersome, like usually you can watch like the feeding and stuff of the animals, so you get a really good close-up of the animals, you get some information about them and stuff like that, which is really fun. But this year it was a big hassle because of the corona. They had limited space for how many could be attending. And so it ended up like you had to be there like an hour before to be able to get a seat to attend the feeding. And Leo doesn't have that kind of patience. Like, me and my husband are struggling to have that kind of patience. Like, you can't expect that of a 5-year-old. So there were some places we managed to kind of get in at the last minute, like super lucky. Somebody went out and I was like, oh, but they just went, can't we go in and take their spot? And the worker was like, yeah, okay, you can go in. Like, so, but I really had to be like on the up and up to be able to do that. So it was a really tough day for me. Like, I felt like I was fighting all the time to be able to get the tickets we needed and to do the stuff. Yeah, it was just a lot of waiting. Like, my feet were hurting like before the end of the first day, and then we had the second day with even more standing. And yeah, it was just afterwards we have heard that a lot of people that went visiting that park or the zoo had been complaining about the fact that they most likely have been taking in more people than they are allowed, because yeah, on the feeding we weren't allowed to like, we had to have like 1 meter between every family and stuff. But in the park there were so many people, you constantly went beside them. Like, there was no way you could hold 1 meter distance. So when there's that many people in the park, it's just silly having that rule when you're sitting down, because you're not containing that rule all the time, because most likely they ended up having more people than what they are allowed to have in the park at one time. We're pretty sure they have breaking some rules on that place. And that's also why there was such a big problem like getting to the different activities, because there was so big lines, because there was too many people. And yeah, it's just, it took away a lot of the fun thing about the park. But my son enjoyed. We tried to walk where there wasn't too many people. I'm fully vaccinated, so I wasn't that worried myself. Leo, he's been like going to the kindergarten for 2 years with the corona, so I'm not too worried about him either. Like, most likely he have had the corona just without any symptoms. Like, because you can be non-symptomatic, and that's usually what happens with small children. Because they did in the kindergarten have 2 outbreaks with parents that got corona. So most likely most of the kids have had it. They just haven't had any symptoms. And my husband, by the time we went, he had the first shot of the corona vaccine. So he was like halfway vaccinated. So we weren't too worried about the whole being close to people, in all honesty. So yeah, it was fun. And the second day, there on that zoo, there is also like water park you can go to. So you can get like a reduced ticket to go to the water place, and if you're visiting the zoo. So my husband and son wanted to do that. So at the end of the day, they went over there. I found myself a nice cafe I liked inside the park. Bought myself a Coca-Cola and a donut, and I was sitting stitching in the park. There was a lot of people like watching me weirdly, and there was a lot of people like, you could tell they was really curious what I was doing, and when they saw what I was doing, they was like, oh, look at that. Like, I could hear people whispering on the tables around me like, oh, they really like my project. So, but I didn't care. My feet was hurting. I was tired. I knew we had 6 to 7 hours ride home after we had been in the park 2 days in a row, because my husband didn't want to spend one more night in the boat, which I agree with. He doesn't sleep well. Leo doesn't sleep that well. I don't sleep at all because they have terrible beds. Like, I'm glad we can be there for free. I'm glad we could spend time with my in-laws, Leo's grandparents, because he really enjoyed himself. It's just I can't be there too long because I don't sleep well in the boat. Like, usually I sleep really well on boats because I have taken a lot of boats traveling back and forth to school growing up because of where we lived. And usually I would always, like, if nobody was sitting beside me on the boat, I would lay down on like 2 or 3 seats and fall asleep. Boom. I almost immediately, because the rocking of the boat, it makes me sleepy. I can go right to sleep. Sleeping like a baby. But not on my in-laws boat, apparently. I don't know. I don't sleep well there. So yeah, I was sitting in the park, stitching. My feet were hurting, so when we were done, we were driving home. As I said, it's a 6 to 7 hour drive home. Leo was supposed to fall asleep and sleep in the car. He did fall asleep like the last 1 hour of the trip, so he got like 1 hour power nap before we came home. Yeah. Then he wanted to play. So he is a really good kid. Like, he's not a difficult child to handle. Like, we are doing our job as parents, basically. So even though he wanted to play, like, it was just a little bit extra thing to do. Like, saying that, no, you can't play now. It is bedtime. Like, it's in the middle of the night. You have to go to bed. So, and getting him to bed and stuff like that. before like packing out of the car, because we didn't want all the things to be in the car, because on the boat everything becomes raw because there's a little bit moist. It's so moist everywhere, especially in the night, especially if it was raining when it was nighttime. It wasn't raining in the daytime, but it was raining 1 or 2 days when it was in the middle of the night. And then everything becomes raw and it seeps into the clothing. And so you just need to get it out of the car so it can lay a good place to dry and before washing it, because I don't like raw smell of the clothes when it's like moist and have been laying folded, being moist. It's just not me. So yeah. And then the next few days my husband had some things he needed to fix, so I had Leo alone. And then there was a lot of washing clothes, doing all that after vacation stuff. And then here in Norway you have something called SFO, which is a school free time organization thingy. So when the children are done school, they will go to the SFO and stay there until, depending on how much you pay for, they will stay there until 3 or 4 o'clock. Leo is there only until 3 o'clock because we're trying to save some money. So, and when it's vacation time, when the school isn't in session, I don't know what to call it, when the school isn't going, they are usually in SFO, except for X amount of weeks they have to have as a vacation each year. We have rules in Norway that states that all children have to have 4 weeks vacation and 3 of them has to be in one go. That's like a set rule. Like that's the minimum amount you have to give your children vacation. Because or else there would be parents that would not let their children have vacation, which is horrible. So yeah. So he then started the SFO. And was there, which was really nice because then he got to see a lot of the children in the class. He has started first grade. I'm getting to that. But he was able to see a lot of the children, a lot of the grown-up people going to work there, because most of the people, the grown-ups working on the SFO, is also usually teachers' assistants when the school is going. So a lot of those people he will see, especially when it's first grade in Norway, like they will usually have 1 or 2 assistants in, like usually 1 assistant that are not necessarily all day, but at least once a day in the classroom. And if they have like special need kids, they go in regular classes, but they will have a lot of the times an assistant on them. So then you will have a second assistant in the room, second teacher assistant. So that's most the gist of how the school system works. So it was nice for him to like be able to see the grown-ups and stuff like that. But then there was like 3 days they call they have some days they are calling planning days. It's not necessarily planning they are doing. Believe me, I have worked as a teacher and not getting any time to planning. But you have a lot of courses and lectures and stuff you go to at those days as a teacher. So those days, the school was closed down, the SFO was closed down, so I had to have Leo home alone 3 days in a row. Because my father-in-law was working that week, so he couldn't help. He works in the oil, like out on the platforms. So he is like, I think it's 2 weeks out and 3 weeks home. So if he's home, he usually is really good about taking Leo at least one of the days to help out. So it's not too difficult for me, or he will take Leo some of the day just to give me a break. But this time there was no father-in-law to help me, so I had to do everything myself. So yeah, and the first day it was tough, but it was like doable. Leo was really great. The second day he was just clingy. He was just like, as I told my husband, I just needed to go to the bathroom. And when I went to the bathroom, like Leo knows he's not allowed to go into the bathroom with me. He will do that with his dad, but he's not allowed to do that with mommy. Like, if I'm going to the bathroom, I'm going alone. That's just a rule in this house. I don't need company when I'm sitting on the bathroom. Like, no way. So yeah, while I was sitting there, Leo was sitting right outside the door singing. And it's not like a real song, it's just like a made-up song with his own melody, and it's so hilarious. So he was just constantly around me, talking, making noise, singing. And it's, in a way, it's nice and cozy, but it's when you're chronically ill and a big problem is noise, I'm really sensitive to noise, then that's not the best combination. So by the end of that day, I was white. Like, when my husband came home from work, he was late home, so he was home like 5 p.m., something like that. I went to bed. And I slept until the next day when I had to wake up and take care of Leo. So that day we were actually supposed to travel. So no, I didn't sleep the whole day. I was in bed the rest of the day. It's more correct. Because we were supposed to travel for a wedding, my husband's aunt. And I was starting to get sick. My husband was annoyed because I got sick, even though I had told him this, but he apparently had forgotten, and he meant that if I knew I was going to get sick, we shouldn't have gone at all. And I told him, well, it was his decision. I had told him that. But he apparently has selective hearing, so he only hears what he wants to hear. So there was like a big fight, and that was just even more draining for me. So we ended up not going at all. So my husband came home. We had started to discuss. He got mad. He then just left the house. Luckily, after Leo was in bed, he left the house. I went to bed, and he came home like at midnight or something, and woke me up to start discussing what we should do the next day. And we ended up not going. I wasn't feeling well. And by the time Friday rolled around, I was really happy, because Friday I was really, really struggling. That was the last day, having Leo alone. I ended up, I don't know what it was, but my foot were like seriously hurting on my heel. Like, I couldn't step on my heel without it hurting. Like, it felt like something was wrong inside my heel, like something was laying wrong, or I don't know. It was hurting. So called the doctor's office. They wanted me to come in later in the day. They didn't have time in the morning. So I was trying to take care of Leo as good as I could. Walking around on my toes because I couldn't use my heel. And by the time it was starting to get the afternoon. The doctor's office called. They had like a really big emergency that had happened, so everything would have to be postponed. So they asked me like if I could walk, and I said, yeah, I can walk on my toes, but I can't step on my heel. So I wasn't that priority. So they said, okay, just sit with your foot up high, like rest the rest of the day, like don't walk around too much, even on your toes. And if it gets worse by tomorrow, you call the emergency doctor to take you in there, the emergency care. I was like, okay, fine. So by the next day, it was a little bit better. I still couldn't walk around, so I was thinking I'm just waiting it out to see how it goes. And by the time Sunday, I was still aching, but by the time Monday rolled around, I could walk on my foot. Like I could still feel it was a little bit uncomfortable walking on the heel, but it wasn't painful. Like it wasn't like serious pain. It was just a little bit uncomfortable. So it was fine. I was walking on the foot. So, and that Monday was Leo's first day of school. So I had to take him to his first day of school. And the principal, he was too late they did like a name call for the classes. Of course, they did Leo's class last, and he is the last name in that class because of his last name. He's the last name on the list. So we had to stand around waiting for a long time. And Leo was tired before they started this because, as I said, the principal was late doing this whole thing. He was supposed to start when it was 9:45 a.m. and he didn't get around to it before right after 10 a.m. So, and then they started the name call, and then that took some time. It took like almost 15 minutes just to call up all the names and all the classes, and the parents wanted to take all the pictures of all the children and stuff like that. So everything takes time. And then it was going with him into the classroom because we parents were supposed to go in at the beginning and be there at the beginning. So by the time it got so far that I could go, like it was almost 11 a.m. already. And I was tired. Like I was just done. So yeah. And now that he only goes, when he goes to the SFO, since he only goes to 3 o'clock, I'm normally the one that has to pick him up, and I'm the one who has to deliver him to school. Because my husband is a teacher. He's working as a teacher. So when the school bell rings, he has to be in his school, in his class, with his students. He can't be here following Leo to school. So that's my job. So there's a lot more work for me now. I do enjoy it. Like it's nice being able to spend a little bit more time with Leo. My husband will make Leo his lunch and breakfast and stuff like that. So the lunch goes in these lunch boxes, and the breakfast he eats before I wake up. And then when my husband has to leave to reach work, I go up and do the last thing Leo needs to do, like brush his teeth and make sure he has like the clothes he needs, and that all the paperwork from the school is signed and ready to be given back to the school and all that kind of stuff. And then I take him to the school, go home, and finally rest. And then when I try to go when it's like 2:30 p.m. to pick him up, even though he can be there until 3 p.m. Just because there is one kid who is the big brother of a friend of Leo, and he is acting really bad against Leo. He has done that now 3 days in a row when I have been following him. So I'm really glad I'm following Leo back and forth to school, even though it's just 5 minutes down the road to the school. Like I can see the school from my house. We're that close. But since that boy isn't behaving really well and is saying some stuff that really makes you wonder, like, what are you going to do if I wasn't here to my son? So yeah, Leo wanted to start to go back and forth to school himself, but I haven't let him yet because of that. So that's something we have to discuss with the school, what we're going to do, because yeah. Parents, can you please raise your kid properly? Like, if you're gonna have a kid, do the job. I'm so tired of so many parents that aren't doing their job as parents because they're making trouble for everyone else that actually are doing the job, giving them extra work. So yeah. And my husband apparently knows somebody that knows somebody that knows the parents of this child, and they're not really good parents. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting school year. But if worst comes to worst, I will follow my son each and every day back and forth to school instead of him being bullied on the way home or to school. Like, that is not happening on my watch. Not happening. So yeah, it has been a lot of extra stuff that wasn't anticipated. Like, we had never anticipated something like that happening, like almost the first day at school. So my husband is going today to try and pick Leo up. That's why I could film a Flosstube, because I have a little bit more time. Because he wanted himself to like see and observe the kid I'm talking about, because he is constantly standing with his buddy around where Leo is going home from school at the time he know Leo will be going home from school, which is the most disturbing thing. Like, you can see he's just standing there doing nothing. He and his buddy is just standing there waiting. So you know there's something off. Like, that's not how normal kids behave, just standing there. So my husband is picking up Leo today, so he wanted also to see if he's still doing it, this kid, and assess the situation from there. So yeah. So that's life. My kid has finally started school. He is enjoying school. Luckily, Leo is not aware of that anything iffy is going on. Like, Leo is very focused on what he is doing and doesn't pay much attention to everything else. So when this kid is acting badly and doing stuff on the side that is like doesn't look that good, Leo he doesn't see that. He has fun. He's doing other stuff, like jumping down the road singing. So that's good. And he is really well liked in his class. Like, everybody wants to be friends with Leo. So that's really fun. Like, that's so good as a mom to not have to worry about that part, because that's always something you worry about. Like, you want your child to have friends in school and enjoy school. So already, like, the first day after school, one of the other boys in the class, he asked if Leo could come home to him, and his dad was picking him up at the same time. So I asked him that if that was okay, and his dad was like, yeah, we would love that. Yeah, please. And we're like, okay, we're just gonna go home, pack a little thing Leo can have with him, and we'll get over there. So first day of school, he went with a buddy home. So yeah, so that's nice. And he had football practice yesterday, so he started football practice. And it looks like he really enjoys it, so that's good. Hope he will continue to enjoy that. So he is having fun, and he is having a great time, and that's really good. He is really enjoying school, and he really wants to learn how to read. Like, he's almost a little bit mad that they aren't doing more school stuff, because he wants to start reading now. And it's not that he wants to start reading in Norwegian. He wants to start to learn reading English. Because he's collecting Pokemon cards, and he likes to play. Like, you can play with those cards. And usually he needs his dad or me to translate what the cards are saying. So he really wants to learn to read English so that he can play that game for himself. So he's adorable. So yeah. So going forward, I don't really have big plans, except for I'm doing the zombie runs. So I'm doing the 4 projects that are in the zombie run. So for now, it's Minnie Still Here, Cinderella, and the Baby Sampler. And by September, I will put in A Year Down Under in place of the one I did finish. And if I finish the Baby Sampler, I haven't quite decided what I'm going to put in instead of there. But I'm thinking maybe Lion King by Disney Dreams Collection. Like, I'm going to try and have one that has a lot of details in it, and one of the ones that don't have that much detail, that is an old project, to get them out of my pile, to like kind of work the oldest one out of the pile. So, and I have the dress. I really need to try and get going on the dress and get more finished. Like, I'm way behind. So that's as soon as things cool down and my head functions again, that is going to be my priority. August, since it's my birthday month, I was like, okay, I'm not going to focus too much on the dress. I'm going to stitch on it a little bit here and there, as I have done the rest of the year, which haven't given me much. But when September rolls around, I will be going gangbusters on that dress, because I wanted to have it done by October, end of October. So that gives me 2 months. And there's more than 2 months work on that dress, as I have been going right now. So I really need to try to get that rolling. And I'm not going to participate in anything more than I already am. Some groups I did leave. One, it became too much, and some of them was just, it was stressing me out. Like, it wasn't that much work, but it was that much more work. So it was stressing me out. So I said I had to leave, and I did. And as I said, there's nothing wrong with the challenge in itself, like, and the group and the people. I was enjoying it, but it was stressing me more than it gave me joy. So I just needed to leave to focus on other things. And I joined one more group because my friends are doing, like, the ones I talk with daily and are mostly with on Virtual Stitchers we're doing, and I was asked if I wanted to join. It's like a really laid back game. You can do everything in your own time frame, so it's not like you have to stitch a bunch. So it's more like I add whatever I stitch to the game, and I don't worry too much about it. So then it's fine, because I would do those stitches anyway because of other prompts. So yeah. So when September rolls around, if I don't get enough time to stitch on the dress, I will stop doing the monthly and just do zombie run. And now that I can double dip with the zombie run, I will of course try and implement those zombie run stitches into the monthly and weekly as best as I can. And that is to get some more time to stitch on the dress, because most of September will be stitching on the dress is my plan. I'm going to try and have a rule that says if I have done 1 hour of cross stitching, I have to do at least 1 hour stitching on the dress. Like when comparing at the end of the month, the dress is going to be worked on just as much as all my different projects together in cross stitching. So hopefully that will get some good progress on the dress. And August isn't done, so I still have a couple of days to do that. So yeah. I will leave you. Have a great day. I will be back at least in the beginning of October to do the giveaway. And I might do an update before then. We'll see. I am hoping now that Leo is back in school and my husband is working that I can do more often updates and not have them be this long, because they get long when there's a lot that has happened. Like that's just how it is. It's more progress to show, and I don't want to kind of be like, oh, I worked on this, just to hurry along the video. Like, I want to show the cross-stitch project and talk about my cross-stitch projects. And so it takes a little bit longer. That's how it is. So with that, I'm going to leave you. I'm just looking around if there's anything I've forgotten. I don't think so. One of the things that are really bad is that I got a new game. And with the new game, I asked for some new Joy-Cons for my Nintendo Switch, because the one we have is broken and I hate playing with that. It's not broken, but it likes, suddenly the character just walked by itself to the left side. And that's really annoying when I'm doing like farming games, because your character has to stand still to be able to water the plants. So if he's suddenly running off to the left, I can't do that. So yeah. And oh yeah, I also got a new phone, early birthday present, which means I will finally be able to do the Stitch with Me's I had been planning on. Because my biggest problem was I didn't know how to film and have Pattern Keeper going. But now I can have Pattern Keeper on my old phone. It's still on my old phone. So I can use that for when I'm actually stitching and use Pattern Keeper, and I can use my new phone for filming. So that is making that problem a little bit easier. So yeah. Now I think I have said everything I need to say. I think. I don't know. I think. We all know I'm a hot mess at the time. That's just 2021. And we have one more wedding to go to this month. I'm not sure I'm gonna celebrate my birthday. Like, I'm so sick and tired of people. I don't want to celebrate my birthday because that means I need to have people coming to my house, and I just want to be alone. Ugh. It's been a lot. Vacation, having my husband and son home, having people visiting, having us traveling and being with other people. It's too much peopling for me. I need a break. I don't like people that much. I love you guys. I just don't love everybody else because they don't understand me and the need for not being around people. So yeah. Okay, I will leave you all for now, and hopefully I will have an update in 1 or 2 weeks time, which will be a shorter update, and then I will be back at the beginning of October to do the giveaway drawing. So if there was anything you liked in the giveaway, then please comment so you can be added into the giveaway. So I'm also currently trying to organize a little bit more in my craft room, and as I do that, I'm looking at like old magazines, like patterns that I'm not going to stitch and stuff like that. The floss I was showing you, it's floss. I like the floss. I'm just not going to use it. Like they're not really my colors and stuff. So I figured it would be great for a giveaway because other people might love those kind of floss and colors and do more monochromatic stitching than I am, where variegated floss is nice to use, stuff like that. So yeah. So currently trying to organize a little bit more and trying to give away stuff that I'm not going to use, because if I'm not using it, I want it to go to a good home where it will be used instead of collecting dust in my drawers. So thank you all for coming, watching. If you're still with me, thumbs up to you. It's a long one. So I hope you had something you were doing while watching me, since it's a long one. So I will leave you. Have a great rest of August, and I will see you later. Goodbye.